Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my weekly review.
Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here, meeting my icon, Catherine Isabel here.
Across the streams of hopes and dreams where things are really not. Come along if you can. Come along if you dare.
Have a good one. Cheers, guys.
Side of your mind, but please realize you'll probably be surprised.
Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my review of this week's episode of Arrow on the CW, which is episode 18 of season 6 called Fundamentals. So yeah, I know I've been pretty spotty with my my Arrow reviews this season. I remember reviewing a few in the early part of it, especially the Slade episodes. I reviewed a couple here and there after that, but yeah, I know it's not really a good track record for this season, but I've nonetheless been enjoying it. You know, I think it's one of the best Arrow seasons probably since seasons 1, 2. You know, I did like 5 as well. I actually enjoyed 3 for what it was. And 4 still had its bright spots, but that's definitely the worst of them. But yeah, I think the show with a really good Slade story earlier this season, and just that full circle development, you know, with him and Oliver is just great. You know, their relationship, it's one of my favorite things about the show. And I know right now a lot of people though are having issues, you know, with all the friction in the team. You know, with Renee, Dinah, and Kurt. I almost forgot his name for a second. You know, then of course with Diggle even leaving Oliver recently. I meant to review last week's episode. I was just kind of busy last week too with getting ready for the conventions and everything. Definitely gotta go to another Heroes and Villains just to meet Stephen Amell for sure. Because I love Stephen Amell, and I still love and care a lot about Oliver. I'm still really invested. You know, there have definitely been parts of the show where I've been more interested in than others. But what's always kept me coming back is Stephen Amell's Oliver Queen. He plays him really well. You know, Amell, he seems to be a very great guy in real life. And there's just something so consistent and endearing about his portrayal that always keeps me coming back. And this episode, Fundamentals, I think, along with the Slade episodes earlier on, is the best of the season. It was, in quite a few ways, a throwback to some of the earlier stuff, you know, literally and figuratively. Figuratively, because the psyche Oliver is in this episode, thinking he needs to operate alone again. Go by, like, his original way of things, you know, when the show started and everything. But then we also get, you know, a literal throwback with him going to his original costume, his original uniform. You know, which I like quite a bit. And honestly, I like this Arrow episode as much as, you know, Supernatural this week, which is kind of surprising considering. So if I like an episode of Arrow as much as an episode of Supernatural during the week, I think that says something. Now, I'm not going to do a full review on last week's episode, but just to give some quick thoughts on it, I do think it is a little bit frustrating with Diggle right now. I'll give it that. I don't think it makes total sense with him, you know, going at Oliver the way he did. Hats off to Oliver for being so damn patient during the whole confrontation between the two last week. I really hope the writers aren't trying to get us to root against Oliver. I really hope they're not trying to I hope they're not assuming we're gonna blame Oliver too or something, because no, Oliver hasn't really been in the wrong at all. I think he's been justified in everything he's had to do this season. Like spying on the others, I think it made sense because of the things they were doing. And Oliver giving like Renee every chance and then putting him in the hospital. And yet they say it was all Oliver's fault. And then Diggle, the whole him wanting to be the Green Arrow and that apparently meaning something to him. It didn't really fit with his character. Like Oliver thought. You wouldn't think he would care so much about like a mantle or whatever. He just wanted to keep doing what he was doing. If it's for the good and everything. But I don't know. So that part has been frustrating. I'll admit. It's maybe not perfect writing wise. But nonetheless, I've still been pretty engaged in the issues between the team and everything like that, and I've been frustrated, but I've been on Oliver's side all the way. Felicity hasn't been as annoying this season. She's been a little bit more bearable, though I still think it'd probably be better off without her. That was almost evidenced again in this week's episode. Because last week, she said, she isn't going anywhere, and this week we have a preview of her saying we need some space. That's exactly what people hate. But it turns out, it's kind of part of, Oliver's hallucinations, I guess. I kind of debated about that, but, I think hopefully the writers have learned to at least not, force too much drama with Felicity or something. But yeah, I liked Oliver going back into that lone wolf mentality, and it was really, kind of character-driven episode and very Oliver-centric, which I know a lot of people have been wanting. You would think on a show called Arrow would be centric on the Green Arrow, but it's definitely been more of a team thing for a while. The most personal thing we had for Oliver this season is probably the Slade. But I know he's had William and stuff like that, which is a fine dynamic, but it was good just to see the episode dive, into Oliver's psyche the way it did. With him, being, injected with that little bit of, why am I suddenly forgetting the name of it? Vertigo. He even has hallucinations of, their Laurel, which I thought was pretty touching. So I enjoyed that. And Quinten in this episode is pretty much me, in terms of how he's trying to help Oliver and keep him upright. And saying how much he's changed and the hero he's become and the man he's become. Since season 1 and stuff like that. That's exactly what it is. It's exactly what Oliver needs to hear. It's the truth. Now, like I said, I just really enjoyed this episode. That opening sequence, by the way, the fight scene through the police department was, I thought was, pretty nicely shot, or at least shot in a pretty cool way. Just seeing Oliver just march and charge in there, just full force. We haven't seen something like that for a while. Gotta remember just how capable and skilled Oliver is, though. I know he's a master. But I think we needed to see something like that again, and it was really a really cool, little fight sequence there. And now at the end of the episode, we see Felicity stopping him from going, through the door, because Diaz and his men were waiting on the other side with their guns pointed right there, and they were literally on the other side of the door, so they weren't a distance away, so he could maneuver out of it. I guess that was the idea. But still, I feel like Oliver has faced worse threats, worse groups before, almost completely on his own. And he's come out the other side, but, it was still a decent moment between the two, I guess. But he's still thinking he needs to operate the way he used to. He needs to do this alone to, have a singular focus, even without Felicity, which I think I'm still appreciating that they're taking that direction. Maybe not as aggressively, but, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, that was really good. I enjoyed the hell out of that. We see Diggle stop by briefly. They're pretty much still on the same, the same thing. With this, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. By the way, it's probably the highest rated Arrow episode I've reviewed, along with maybe one of the Slade ones. I keep talking about Slade. It sucks that they don't have the rights to him right now. it just sucks that they get to pick and choose when they can, when they're allowed to bring Slade in, when they're not. But anyway, yeah, I just really liked everything about this episode, pretty much. I can't really think of any issues. Oliver, he's been impeached, which I think will just make him even more driven and focused on what he's trying to do here, which I think will be pretty good. And, then he snapped on William at one point as well, which of course was due to the vertigo and the hallucinations and stuff like that. But still, the acting I thought was pretty good in that scene. But yeah, so like I said, I'm giving this episode 9 out of 10. Very good episode. I'm really eager to see what they do with the rest of the season. Stephen Amell and the others have said that the season ends in a pretty big game-changing way. That they can't really, reverse, and that they're not going to twist to, take back at, in the next season either. So I'm pretty curious to see what it is. They're probably not going to kill off Felicity, unfortunately. But people have had this, I've seen this, fan idea lately that he should have his Iron Man moment, or his I am Iron Man moment. And, tell the city, tell the world that he's the Green Arrow. Like how we got this evidence here and stuff like that. I actually think that'd be kind of a cool development for the story. Just own up to it, just fully, and I think that'd make for a really awesome moment and, dynamic for the whole show going forward. Dangerous as hell, but, I think it would still be pretty awesome. But yeah, anyway, let me know what you guys thought about this episode, or your predictions for the rest of the season. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, subscribe. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace. Oh yeah, also good seeing Adrian Chase again. I almost forgot to mention that. Again, just kind of being the devil's advocate in Oliver's head, and basically Adrian Chase and his head being a manifestation of Oliver's kind of self-blame and stuff like that. I thought it was pretty good too. Yeah, anyway, catch you guys next time. Peace.